Hello guys, welcome to the In My Bag series. My name is Adana and I'm here with Temi the poet. An environmentalist and an author of 2 books. Congratulations. Thank you. And we're excited to have the conversation today and I hope that you enjoy it and stay to the end. Before we go into the deep part of the conversation, we just want to get to know you. Just introduce yourself and then move to give more facts about you.
Alright, my name is Temilade Salami. I'm an environmentalist. I'm also an author and the founder of Eco Warriors. Eco Warriors is a youth-led social enterprise, and it's a group of young professional environmentalists who are leading environmental change through tree planting, ocean conservation awareness, environmental education, and also plastic waste management. Yeah, and I've authored 2 books titled Jojo and Jadi and then ABCs of Recycling. I think that's pretty much about me. And I love to just do creative stuff. Anything creative.
Yes, you know about your wallpaper, which is currently my wallpaper.
Oh.
But yes, that's very interesting. I have a lot of questions, but before we move into that, just give us 3 fun facts about Temi. Apart from the fact that she's a creative.
I think, contrary to what a lot of people think, I like food. I like to eat. Find out where the food is.
What's your favorite food?
Don't say amala, please. Bread.
That's great. High five. High five.
Bread. Monday to Friday to Sunday. Just buy me bread, like really good one. And then the second fun fact is that I think that many people think that my life is quite boring. I'm one of those people that dance alone in their room and just do funny things.
Have a concert.
Like have a proper concert and singing off key. And then the third thing, I like money.
Yes, dear.
Money is good, please. And I like to play dress up sometimes, and I like hats. I think that's just.
Yes, but I have when I say I have a lot of questions for you. I had a lot of questions for you. So that's really fun. I like the concerts. I do that a lot in my room because adulting, I get the best of me. Thanks and God bless. So just walk us through your earliest, what you studied in school, and what was that whole process choosing that, and before we get to where you are now.
Okay, I get an admission to study dentistry and dental surgery. I wanted to become a doctor, but medicine is like, if you don't have 300 and something in your job, don't go there. So I chose, just to be on the safer side, I chose dentistry. And then a lot of things happened, a lot. I talked about it on my YouTube channel. It's going to be a long talk if I decide to do it here, but Unilag decided that this fine babe doesn't deserve to study a medical course, and then they told us to go to our houses because they failed to do their own part. So we had to, after protests that I led, they gave us another course, and then I was thrown with some of my classmates to different departments. I was thrown to marine biology. I spent 1 year of my life in Unilag before that time, and in my life that I've been going to Faculty of Science, I have never imagined that somebody would go to school to study water, ocean, and fishes. What's my business? But then I got to the department and I realized that there were some people that actually chose that course from the beginning.
By themselves?
And yeah, sometimes I want to ask them, what's the thought process like? Well, finishing from that department exposed me to a lot of things. It's such an interesting course. It's just because in Nigeria, we don't have, people are not enlightened. They are not. There's no knowledge transfer in that particular field. abroad like is a solid course. So that was just the whole thing. I studied marine biology and I graduated. It was not the funniest experience in between being depressed and just trying to move, having ease and days because you're just trying to settle into a department from a medical course. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, we are here today doing something related to that anyway. Yeah, and that was the beginning of my journey as an environmentalist. And yeah, I don't think I have any regrets so far.
Wow. Dentistry, and then marine biology. YouTube channel, we'll wait for your YouTube.
I already have a video actually.
I will need to watch that to get like more gist about it because Nigeria.
That's a normal thing. Ask any medical student. Especially in the
Wow. So you finished from marine biology and then graduated and then NYSC of course.
Yeah.
And then how did you find yourself in the communication sector?
Okay, so I think I just like to write. I'm the person that if it's time to talk to people, I like to talk. Let's talk, let's write, just communicate with people. And then I think I find it's not really work for me, except for the fact that I now currently do it as part of my work at EcoWars and one of the projects I'm currently on with Coca-Cola. It's more like my natural place. Yeah, I like to write. But then when you come into a corporate space, you don't just say I like to write. You have to write to deliver results.
Yeah.
Sales and all those things. So I came to Abuja as a corporate. That was last 2 years. Yeah, I think that was last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I was just doing my thing, and I found myself working in an advertising agency. And I think the small time, I think I spent about 4 months. Yeah, about 4 months. The small time that I spent there was really very interesting for me, getting exposed to the higher level of what you think that you actually know. And I think that experience really just, I would say it elevated my experience, my previous experience. And it was just really good because there are now some things that I understand that if I do it this way, you don't have to wait for when you're inspired to do something. Now you know that this is work. Either you are inspired or not, you just have to deliver. Yeah, and I think I'm applying it in different areas of my life. Work, I currently handle like some pages, my organization page and a page that we currently manage for a project that has to do with plastic recovery. And it's a lot of work because it's not every day that you wake up and you feel ginger to go and post and write copies. But the discipline that experience gave me was just really amazing. I know you also like read things online, you start following people who talk about the things in your field. And somehow, I believe that you smell like where you've been, right? Where you stayed for long. So when you watch those videos, listen to those people, follow them, hear opinions, what people debate on what is right and what is not, it just expands your thinking and also your creative processes. I think that's it.
I like that you mentioned that communications, that sector is like your thing. So even like even being a full-time environmentalist right now, like you've picked out a lot of things, which was going to be my next question. You've picked out a lot of things, but I think that what I'm very interested in is what was that thing that made you say, you know what, I now want to move into being a full-time environmentalist? Because I know you mentioned that it was when you started studying marine biology, you started enjoying it, and which moved to you now wanting to be and then becoming one. So what was that like one moment that's like, okay, you know what, now I now need to like do this thing full time?
I think the defining moment for me was, so I used to run an NGO called Ignite Move. What we did basically was just go to the streets. I've been running the NGO since I was in 100 level. So we just go to the street, feed people, go to orphanage homes. And then when I got to marine biology, we started going for field trips, It's not the theory part. Like you go the popular Lagos Lagoon, the one under Third Milan Bridge. You go for field trips with your field members. And then you just see like very, very annoying sights. There's dredging going on. People are taking sand from the ocean. And then people keep pushing the water back. They're building and building. And then we go for field trip and we want to collect samples. And then we come back. We cannot find the organisms that we want to use for the experiment. So I was like, what's going on? My lecturer now told us that it's because of the activities that are currently going on. So it's more like if there's a bomb blast, God forbid, anywhere, don't let me mention any. If there's a bomb blast anywhere, you naturally displace those people because they cannot survive at that place. Even if you have your house there, you have to move with your children. So that's just the same thing that happens to like the water habitat sort of. So they have to move because you keep disturbing them. And then there's plastic pollution, there's oil spillage, just a lot of things. And the water was so dirty, like you just literally pray not to fall inside that water because the plastics were just a lot. You could see them floating with the waves and everything. And I'm like, okay, I think it's now time to just move here. But then I was not really convinced because at that time I was looking for organizations in Nigeria. I know there are recycling companies, of which they're just about, that I knew at that time, they were just about 3. They are recycling companies. But then, like, NGOs that, go out to sensitize people, do awareness, and that's not like the business part of the whole thing. I just wanted to do that. And then I called my classmates, my friends, and if there's anywhere my strength plays the most is bringing people together. And we're about 100 and 150. We started doing cleanup. We went to this community in Bariga that their drainage was literally blocked. Like no water can pass through. So we cleared the drainage for them, involved community members, and that was how the whole thing began. That was December 2017. I think December 7 or 9, sort of. And I'm like, okay, why not just do this thing full time? You are studying marine biology and then this is environment. Like there's a lot of connection. Just do it. And the truth is, going that path, not even working anywhere, I mean like working in an NGO that is environmentally inclined, the first question that comes to your mind is, how am I going to make money? So my other talents, like I would call it, they were just playing in my favor. Like I could just do stuff, sell them online, and then make my money and just do the passion. So the money was funding my passion total. And for a long time, there was no grants. There was, in fact, no support apart from the fact that I had a team who saw the same thing I was saying, and they like invested some of their money. Let's just do this. Until we got a partnership with Zenith Bank to plant trees, and that was. And by the time you get to a point, you feel like, yes, you are eating it, then you just continue, motivate you to just move on.
You're actually the first environmentalist that I have actually run into on social media. And so you hear climate change, and Nigerians don't take anything serious. But you hear a lot of climate change. We've seen how even the weather and just how it has affected it. How has it been sensitizing people, especially because first of all we know but we don't know. We've heard climate change. They've been singing it for us since I think last year or 2 years ago. Global warming and all of those stuff. How has it been sensitizing, especially millennials? Because what has that been like?
I'm just going to say that it's one of the most serious works I've ever had to do. And apart from me, like my team members, and I believe that there's already a generation that is passing out, sort of. It's just normal. Every day, there's always a new generation, right? And it's easier to sensitize and also create awareness for the people who are currently like my age and then children, because they are the ones who are going to, become probably ministers, not even sometimes ministers, sometimes CEOs of company, and then they include green practices into their daily activities. I think it's very tedious because number one, I'm a professional. I know the terms. I know when they say climate change, I can break everything down.
Exactly.
But then making the market woman understand that this is what climate change is, making my friend understand that this is what climate change is, has been tedious. And I think one of the ways, that's one of the places that my strength also plays out as a communications person, because I've now found a way to bring everything down to people's level. You won't find the bogus big words. I can do that when I'm with my colleagues, and people in my field. But when it comes to social media, I try as much as possible to, break it down. Climate change is basically the change of weather in a place over a period of time. So there's no need, talking to people in terms that they do not really understand. Right. So I think that's also one of the places that we need to do better as environmentalists, or any place we find ourselves. Basically, we know that in the office, just the way you are here right now, you know what the old terms, what they are. But like on Instagram, I don't care. Like I just want to eat and live my daily life. So if you cannot incorporate those terms into my daily life and telling people what they need to know, what they need to do, and don't make them feel bad, because literally they do not know. It's not like abroad where they teach you global warming as a kid, and just 5 years old can just walk up to you and tell you that you're doing the wrong thing, fossil fuels, but you don't even know what. When they say fuel, the only thing that comes to your mind is petrol. So breaking it down has been really helpful, and the fact that people now understand that it's not just a vague or abstract word, but then like we can all see it. So maybe when there's rain right now and there's sunshine the next minute, that's like a perfect time to tell people that this is just the perfect example of climate change. We know God is Lord over all, but then He has given us power to control things, especially on Earth. So the result of the things we are currently seeing is because of our attitude. There are companies, gas flaring. I don't know if we're running out of time, but let me just say there was a time that we went for a project in I think it was South. Where the Bayelsa, and then we were going to one of these communities, like deep, we had to even cross one river, and then I saw like the clouds in Bayelsa. You literally cannot see blue clouds, like everywhere. The clouds are dark and everything like that. Then I'm like, guys, this is what we're talking about. People keep burning fuels in communities where people stay, and then you wonder why people die young. You wonder why people are eating things that are very bad to their health. And you just hear that people slump and die, but they are consuming things that are already been laced with fossil fuels, gas flaring and all of those things. There's a lot of work to be done, but I always say it, if you can appeal to the young people and then the top players in your field, you have to strike a balance. Your onions at the top, and then that these people down here, they need to understand this thing bit by bit and not make them feel bad for what they do not know actually. So I think the whole communications thing have just really helped me to break the whole thing down. And to be honest, we have in our organization, we have about 200 volunteers, sort of, roughly. And apart from the ones that we currently have under our Mission Zero Plastic project, about 600, at least I can say that the average person knows what this whole thing is all about. They might not be articulate, but they know that this is what they're supposed to do and this is not what they're supposed to do. I think that's the basics.
I was going to come to response to, I know I saw one of your posts where you were calling for volunteers, but before, I like what you said about breaking it down, because I know I follow your page and I've seen how you've been able to break it down even to the smallest way. I think one of the content that I saw that I really liked was how to reuse plastic bottles or something and then turn it to flower jars and turn it to piggy bank, and so those kind of content is oh, okay, it's not even that hard to to do this thing and be more environment aware. So now even personally, I've started because I drink a lot of bottled water, and I find that my debt is half, what am I saying, 90% of bottled water. because I drink a lot of water. So now, what am I going to do with those plastic? I've been throwing them away, but now because I'm now trying to be more aware, so there's the woman that takes it to reuse as bottles for Zobo and all of those things. So instead of me to throw it away into the bin, like I just pack it somewhere for her, and she comes like weekly to come get it. And I feel like that's some of those practices are like what we pick out from, the kind of content that you create. So thank you so much. That's like a lot of awareness that is coming to the table, and I feel like young people just need to be, some people are aware, it's just now being more intentional about putting those practices. So coming back to volunteers, when you call for volunteers, what is the response like?
A lot, actually. That's what most people think. Like, yeah, it's environment until you study an environmental course. We have a lot. In fact, like when we do recruitment this year, we've only just done once, just to be on the safe side, right? Because now, like, we have like a full group, sort of like on WhatsApp, like our volunteer group chat, and then we cannot take in more people. And the more we post content, people see what we do, and they're like, yeah, I want to join you guys. And to be honest, volunteering in Nigeria can be funny because there are people who want to come because they like what you do. There are people who want to come because they want to take pictures. And there are people who want to come because of the partners that are associated with what you do, and they think that there's just some form of relations that they can build to also like get through to those people. And this is just the basic truth. Everybody come into your life with different reasons for different purposes, right? But on the high side, like 80%, most people are just, I think one of the major thing is you would hardly ever find an environmental organization that is an NGO and then they do all of this stuff. I can name like 5 over my head, but like active ones, right, in Nigeria, the popular NGOs that we know, you go to street to feed people, you go to orphanage, you buy them books, and just like really unsustainable things sometimes, right? And then you now find an organization that, cleans up, recycle plastics. Sometimes it can be very fascinating because you're like, oh wow, so there are actually people who are interested in this thing, and they are not businesses, but say they are not recycling organization. So I don't know what draws people to us, to be very honest. But I think the fact that we are young people, we are vibrant. When we go for cleanups, when we go for activities, project, tree planting, environmental education projects, people are always like active. They enjoy what they are doing. Yeah. We don't pay anybody, and I've been in Abuja for more than 2 years now, and most of our operations have been in Lagos, and I've not had to pay anybody to say do this, and they take initiatives. It just shows you that people are also interested. They just need a platform to express themselves, right? So I think that's it. And also, most of us as young people, we all know that somehow our African parents' mindsets influence the paths that we take. Yeah. So there are people who would naturally want to go for courses like environmental education, environmental sustainability. But number one, you don't even have such courses in Nigeria. And number two, even if you do, you're probably getting a slap for saying you want to go and study environmental sustainability. Yeah. Like when there's doctor, like there's medicine, law, engineering. So if you're not doing those courses, forget about it. So like when people now find a platform like a voluntary platform, say, hey, I'm here. And the good thing about this thing is, regardless of your background, I know people who have studied biochemistry, and now because they are now on a platform like this, they can now further their education based on where they currently are, right? So regardless of the course you've done in school, even if you're a doctor, you can still volunteer as an environmental volunteer, and then you can further your studies just like that, regardless of your background in your course. So I think so far it's just been amazing, and people don't think that we always have such turn-ups. Every day there are always people in the DM saying, I studied this, I would like to intern. But no, we don't even have capacity for interns. So but then you can volunteer and all of that.
Congratulations again on your 2 books.
Thank you.
When I saw it, I was like, that's really like it was black kids. That's so even if I don't have a niece, but like my goddaughter sees it, she would be okay, see someone that looks like me and tiny like me, and it's very interesting. So I wanted to ask, why children? Because I know you mentioned that the best set of people to sensitize are going to be us and kids that are growing up. Was that why you decided to go first into writing books for children?
I think yes. Over time, I've always been an advocate of, let's just have environmental education.
Yeah.
I mean, as a subject in school, right? We have social studies teaching about family. We have primary science teaching about whatever. CRS. We have CRS teaching about religion. But then we all thrive in an environment. If there is pollution somewhere, you can't live there. Yeah. You know how it feels like walking under a scorching sun in Abuja, and then you find a tree. Thank God for trees in Abuja, because I imagine what the extent of the heat would have looked like. You find a shade and then you're just happy, like, yeah, finally I can catch my breath, sort of. So why don't we have environmental education as a subject, right, in schools, as primary schools? I remember that most of children are in formative age, and then anything they see you do, they replicate. Anything they read, they replicate, and they are very visual and they respond to sounds a lot, right? So if you can teach children rhymes in school, teach them about homemaking, because literally they are teaching kids about homemaking. Father goes to this one, father goes to the farm, even though I think they've taken all those out of the syllabus right now. But just teaching them about homemaking. So how about environmental sustainability? They are not too young to learn about these things. And then I know that might take a lot of time, relying on the government and then the Ministry of Education and all of those bodies. But why can't I just write something that can penetrate anywhere, regardless of wherever? And that was why I just said, okay, we need to write a book. And then we have a project. We have a program called Eco Kids Club in my organization. So we go to schools to teach kids about the environment. And then we don't want to teach off our heads, because I'm a very, very attention to details person. I don't want to go to a school and just believe that the volunteer is going to know what he's supposed to teach. So we came up with a lesson plan, sort of, that would run all through the year for any of the schools. I realized that I can't even find anything online. Even if I had found anything online, they were not context specific. We're talking about bicycles instead of cars, which is okay, which is true because of carbon monoxide and all of that. But an average Nigerian kid who is in school doesn't really have a bicycle, except your parents are. You know how much they're selling bicycles right now. Except your parents are really rich. So how can you now bring it and then make them read those things without feeling like bicycle? Like, sis, what are you talking about? I don't even have a bicycle. My own is just to eat and come to school. Then I started writing the book. I started picturing myself as a child when I was young, like things I could see around me. We would go to school, they would tell us during is it agric? I don't know if you did agric as a kid, but then they would tell you to plant primary science. They would tell you to bring beans, like the seed of beans, plant it and put it by your window. I know that's primary science, but indirectly you're teaching them to plant trees, you're teaching them to plant and cultivate and make the environment better. So we already do some of these things, but we need to let them know that this is what you're doing, and this is like the cause and effect of what you're doing. So that was why I wrote the book. And then the second one is also it's not for kids, sort of, but kids can read it, because I simplified it as even if you're 3 years old and you can speak English and read, then you're good to go. That one is majorly about recycling. I know people have been hearing about recycling for more than 12 years of my life. What am I saying? For more than 16 years of my life, when I see, what's it called, like our drum, this container that we use, that we pour water into, the blue popular container that we all know. And then there's this round 3 triangle stuff. And I'm always wondering, what's this thing? Then coming into the environment space, I knew that it has to do with recycling.
Yeah.
I know the level, the type of plastics, maybe it's HDPE or PET and all of that. Children already see those things. Why not tell them that this is what this means? And when you see this sign on something, it means that it can be recycled.
I did not even know.
So all of those, all of those things, right? So people already have these things around them, but why not tell them that this is what it is, rather than just giving them like a general context to it? And the reason why I did it to be like the illustration to be Black children. Before I wrote that book, I went to about 4 bookstores in Abuja, major bookstores, and spying through their bookshelves, I only found environmental books in 2 of those shops, and they were white children. I don't have any bias against any color, of course, but then every time of our life as a kid, we've been made to watch YouTube videos of white children. Even till now, platforms like CoComelon, they are still trying to like put Black children and all of that. So it's still quite inclusive. But then it's not inclusive, no Black children. They cannot see themselves in the picture. So how do you explain to them without them thinking that they need to get abroad to be able to do all of these things, right? So one of the things I'm also trying to do for my next book is to also be more inclusive, add children with physical disabilities and all of that, because the children are very funny. The way they think, is out of this world. And maybe a child who has, let's say, Down syndrome, and reading the book is like, I can't see myself here. So if I'm not this kid, I cannot do what this kid is supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that's just it about the books, basically.
How has the reception been like?
I think it's been really good, right? It's been really good. I always say that I'm not a salesperson, but sometimes I wear my sales hat, and it's a thin line. You want to create impact, and then you want people to buy. This is not I want to say Aki and Popo, but this is not Mary Goes to School, like the normal books, Super Strikers. This is, and all those magazines that we read, they are not, it's not fun. But that was why I was able to just include rhymes, songs, so that it's interesting, and illustrations, like, very important, because kids want, even me as an adult, when I pick up novels that are just words, I'm like, can't you just understand that I need to say something, right? So the reception has been really, really good, and this is me putting it out to anybody who is a change maker and they want to release anything that has to do with kids, even adults. Always know that you have to wear 2 hats: a salesman hat and also your impact hat, right? People know that this is what you want to do, and you have to bring your expertise to the table. They trust you enough that anything you have written, is going to be on 100, and take them through the journey, so that you don't just go and work at the back, then one day you just come up to say, I have a book. No, nobody works that way. Take them through the journey, let them know. I've been talking about the book for almost 1 year, right? Somehow, so I'll just put it in people's ears. So when the book came, it was like, finally it has come. I need to get this. Majority of the purchase were donations. Like, people bought 50 copies, 20 copies for us to distribute in schools. And I am so, in case you're watching this video, thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's very interesting. Like, your whole thought process, and also, yes, I want to make impact. Yes, I want sales. But the most important thing for you is things have to change.
Yeah.
Things have to change. Going back to the beginning, I just want to now go through the process of so really the In My Bag series is how have you been able to navigate through that whole process and adulting.
So first on that list is the fact that this morning I woke up and my body was like, I'm not going anywhere, But adulting will make you stand up, regardless of how you feel, because you made commitment, right? And I think one of the things that really helped me would be that I don't have, I'm not relying on anybody to bring anything to my table. I think I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not copy. So I need to
You're not your
Is
$10.
is it okay to say I need to copylize myself? Nobody's going to come and serve you breakfast in bed. So
Yeah.
I need to do it regardless of how I feel. And I know that adulting can be very tedious. You know, it just feels like you're 16, you're 17, and all of a sudden you're 25.
Listen,
Life just grows up on you. And then you feel like, no, whoever lied to me that I need to be independent. This is a prodigal
did
son
you see
life.
the meme that's been going around that now I know why it's
The prodigal son, I had to go back home.
like I said, this is my life. This is I completely understand why the prodigal son came back home.
You know, it's just adulting. And again, there is no manual. Like, it's not like somebody has lived their life. You know, while there can be lessons and experiences we can learn from, no matter how much people share their experience and what they've gone through, it doesn't prepare you adequately enough for whatever you're going to see. And that's just the truth. So if somebody had told you that this is what I did and this is what I went through, it doesn't mean that that thing is going to happen to you. Maybe you also have to go through your own experience to now even say, yes, this is what I also went through as an adult. And I will always say that, first of all, you don't chase things per se. So I know that we are all in this. Everybody just wants to get to a point where they feel like, yes, I'm finally there. But always bear in mind that you're on a journey. You really cannot say I'm finally there until you're like, I'm not even joking, like 50 or 60 or 70. And right now we still have people who are even 50 and they're still like, I'm not saying actively working, but they're still living their lives. They're doing what they like, they're doing what they love, but with no stress, right? So while you're still here, discipline is first on my list. Like, do it regardless of how you feel. And then when you're mentally exhausted, I beg, take break. See that
Rest.
work. If you break down, work will continue. Like I always say, in every workspace, almost everybody is replaceable.
Yeah.
So no matter how much they say, yeah, I love you, you know, if anything happens today and there's work that needs to be done, they'll find somebody else. So plan your time and take off some time to just rest. And I think the third thing would be that I never get to compare myself to anybody, and I don't use anybody's journey as a landmark or benchmark for myself, because I know that when God was creating me, He was creating me with something very unique. And then if we knew that me and you were supposed to be on the same journey, we'd have probably come as twins. But even twins, they don't have the same thing, right? They don't go on the same journey. So come to terms with the fact that if somebody is at 100 and you're at 50, you're not losing in life. You're only moving, right? And you always want to feel that, yes, I am there already. But there's no point having to be on the staircase and wanting to jump to the end. Just take it step by step. Enjoy, so you can even catch your breath. You know, there was this thing that we did as kids. When you're on the staircase, you try to like jump like 4, you know, just to know if you have Spider-Man strength. But then you realize that by the time you get upstairs, you're really exhausted. Like, you not start asking, who sent me, you know? So just follow through your own journey and know that you cannot see what's going to happen to you in 5 years or 3 years. Don't let anybody lie to you, but live each day on an excellent mood. You know, show up for that thing that you have committed to. And your body would always want to say, don't do this, don't do that. Just when my body did this morning. But then if I'm not here today, I'm probably not going to be making this video. We reschedule. It doesn't speak well of me, sort of. You get. So I think just go at your own pace and don't be. I know social media has created like a lot of pressure. It sounds cliche, but that's just the truth. You know, you look at people, you see, wow, this person is having it all together. You don't even know like the whole process. And me, I know people listen, you don't know what they are going through. Sometimes those people are not even going through anything. They are living their best lives. But then some of them are even like 10 years older than you, and then you want to be there. So imagine your younger sister trying to do the kind of things you're doing. It doesn't make any sense. So catch some breath, live your life, and just know that God that created you already has everything in plan. So if you are following through the journey, you are definitely in for a good ride. That's just the basic. I'm never bothered. My own is today is Thursday. Thursday has come, do what you have to do on Thursday, and then tomorrow comes, I'll do what Friday. So yeah, have goals, but then live life just one step at a time. Just very important.
Yeah. You know what is interesting is that everybody that we've spoken to about, like, asked the same question. There's just a lot of similarities in this. The answers are always the same. Maybe paraphrase, but it's like the same. And one always sticks out. It's like everybody's journey
It's different.
is different. And for us, really, here at Comex, it's like that was the conversation that led to this series start. Like a lot of young people are like on different paths, on like different journeys, and while they are all still on their journeys, everybody still feels like there's one template that Dangote followed, that Otedola is following, that Mike Adenuga is
They
following.
had to reach that.
Listen, I'm even sure that myself, even with how rich her father is, she still her journey itself go short because, and I think I've listened to her sharing some of her stories of even getting her own rejection emails and how she's been able to like, and I'm like,
Life happens to everybody.
excuse me, I'm getting rejection email, you see are getting rejection email, and she was like, she's adulting, like she's also trying to like hustle, and she's always saying hustle. I'm like, what are you saying hustle?
But truthfully, there are levels to this one. Give up the penthouse. It's a different kind of hustle, please. I think F1 and penthouse is not set.
Oh gosh, but thank you so much. I think my last question would be, and I this question for me is always very rare because even when people ask me, I'm always like, hey, it's me, that's a good question. Where do you see Temi, environmentalist, in the next 5 years with the work that she was doing?
This is tricky. Because I want to address this, and this question that she asked me is not coming from a place of pressure.
Yeah.
But when you attend conferences and all those stuff, people ask you, you are always pressured to answer because
My answer is always online.
you don't want to fold your hands. But truthfully, if I want to say this with my Christian mindset, I see myself in God's will. Like, just taking it one step at a time. And then, let me now come to everybody's level. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I think I see myself in the result of everything I'm currently doing right now. I won't jump there. So I have to keep doing it. 5 years is just one day till 5 years. So it's not like 5 years is waiting for you and then you just arrive. Boom. This is me and 5 years. I'm now a millionaire. I just know that my life is going to be interesting. My life is going to be good because there's no option. Yeah, life will happen, things will happen, but then I'm just convinced that because of all the things I'm currently doing right now, I'm on the right path. I'm convinced that I'm doing what I want to do, what I like to do. And if in 3 years anything changes, everything it will change. Like I'm not under any pressure. I'm not doing it for you. So if you know me as environmentalist today, I will still be an environmentalist in the next 5 years. But maybe you are just hearing another side of Temi and this girl now, wow. See, don't be surprised because life is a journey, and every day you keep just unraveling different things, and then there's no pressure really. 5 years is 5 years. This is just 2 years after I got up there. If anybody told me I'll be sitting on
Comex.
Yeah, Comex chair. Like, I don't even know who Comex is before now. So you cannot really predict, except that you're God. You can't really predict. But from assurance that, life is just going to be life. Life is going to be good with you thriving in it. So no pressure really. Your 5 years is just a result of all the things you're currently doing.
One day.
So all your 1 day, take it serious. There's no 5 years that is coming.
In bulk.
Then you just jump into it and say, 5 years.
And when people ask me that question, I'm always like, even the next 5 years.
I don't even know why people. Why do you want to know? Do you want to be my friend?
Do you want to plan it with me? Do you want to
But it's
give
just
me
good,
money to hasten this 5 years?
Maybe Comex wants to give me like millions, to hasten my 5 years journey.
And when people ask me that, I'm always like, I hope in the next 5 years I'm still enjoying myself and enjoying my life and being so happy doing whatever it is that Adana has evolved into doing in that whole 5 years journey. Thank you so much, Temi. I think this has been I didn't even see this conversation going in this direction, but it has been very enlightening for me. If you don't follow Temi, follow her. on. We're going to put her whole platform and so that you can follow her and get in touch with everything that she's doing. Hopefully you write book for millennials, for all that. Because I feel like even if you write a book for us, some of us will not read it.
Of course. So it's just better to use the platform.
Yeah, use the social media handle and just
that
and just talk to us. But thank you so much. You're doing such an amazing work.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming to the Comics in My Bag series. If you watch to this point, you're a real G, and I'm sure you have taken a lot of notes. You should be taking a lot of notes. Thank you.